Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Hierophant from the different decks that I'm comparing. So the Hierophant, if you can see in this image from the traditional Rider-Waite deck, he used to be the Pope. So in some of the older, more traditional decks, the Hierophant actually is the Pope. So he represents that very traditional, conventional institution that has to do with connecting the spiritual world to the earthly plane. So before we were looking at the emperor. The emperor is that masculine energy that's very much grounded in the earth. Now the hierophant is the next step, because he's the masculine energy that is also starting to connect in the divine wisdom. So if you were to get the Hierophant in a love read upright, it would be a good sign for a traditional marriage to come out of that type of relationship. Now, if you were to get the card reversed, that tends to represent weakness, non-traditional support or values. As we look at the Hierophant from the Fountain deck, you can tell we still have what looks like a priest figure. He's looking inside of the box to try to understand kind of this divine insight. So the Hierophant is a person who has information and knowledge to pass on to you, but it's not knowledge that he's learned from his own experience. It's knowledge that has been passed down to him through the tradition or the group, like if the church, the priest, right? If you go to the priest for advice about how to deal with your marriage, he's giving you advice based on what the institution has historically found to be good advice to give people. It is not through his own personal life experience. Though, generally speaking, the advice that you would get from someone representing the Hierophant is going to be good advice that will help you move forward along the spiritual path. So in the Fountain deck, he's referred to as the trusted advisor. So if you get him, it's kind of an energy of peace and wisdom along the lines of traditional guidance. Okay, so in the next deck, which is the Star Child deck, we'll be looking at the Hierophant. And this Star Child deck, again, is a bit more evolved. So these are going to be people who are not so much turning to outside influences for the next steps in terms of their spiritual ascension process. So in this deck, it advises that in order to learn the next lesson that you're going to need to learn to ascend in your spiritual progression, that you spend some time connecting in with your divine self. So spending time in deep meditation where you feel connected in, so where you're able to release your ego and just feel connected in with this divine type of energy. And that is going to help progress you along the next stage of development. Also, if you were to run into the Hierophant reversed, it could mean that you are stuck in a rut, that you are not able to move forward, or that you're dealing with an authority figure that is restricting you or overbearing and dominant in a way that's making you feel out of alignment. So again, generally speaking, when cards are reversed, it means that we're getting the negative influence of this particular energy or this person that's embodying this energy for us. Okay, so then the next deck, so now I've combined the next deck, which is from the Quantum Tarot. So here you can see the Hierophant, and bursting forth and around him are these universal planetary energies that are moving around. And so this deck is combining scientific principles with it to explain the energies behind these different cards. So the Hierophant actually represents Newton's law of motion, and the three laws that build up the foundation and structure of modern physics. And those laws have to do with how objects are affected by their environment. So, again, that's referring to how the Hierophant is kind of combining these energies from the unseen world, right, the spiritual world, the energetic world, with the material world, and how that is going to manifest within the traditional laws or structures. So he represents that interplay of forces between objects and their environment. So I hope that this clarifies for you the energy behind the Hierophant. He could represent a person. So if you're asking about a man in your question and you get the Hierophant, you know you're dealing with a man who has very traditional, conventional values. If you were asking about him, he seems like a good guy, but it's reversed. It would mean that this is someone who has very non-traditional values as far as how they see things or line up with the world. So it does depend on the question what it's going to mean, but in general, we have reviewed the energies of the Hierophant. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.